So, Christine, how did the idea for your book, Vegan Minded, blossom while you were in the graduate programs in humane education?
Yeah, it did blossom. That's a really good word to use for it. I had so during the first semester, I just took one class. I took the Intro to Humane Education. And I remember talking to Mary Pat about I think I wrote an essay and I was like, could my capstone project be a book? I was thinking very early on through in the program, and she's like, well, yeah, it could be. Um, so I let that kind of simmer. And so each class I would write one essay. The next semester I wrote one for animal protection and one for environmental ethics. And then the next semester I wrote another essay. Probably after a year, I knew I was going to write a book that I knew I was writing a book, I should say. And it just grew from there. It was just an amazing experience. I had so much support. So to do this on my own, I had wanted to write a book for a really long time. And I know that the reason I was able to do it now is because of the support I had, because of the feedback I had. It especially was grew during writing for social change and personal transformation. That's where I knew that I did have a book in me. I just wasn't sure what it was exactly. That was about a year into the program that I took that class. And this was really the first time in a long, long time that I was receiving feedback on my writing. I had gone to school many years ago and studied journalism. So it was not foreign to me to get feedback. It was just hadn't happened in a long time. And everyone really wanted me to write a how to be vegan book. It was very clear from the feedback that it wasn't that they didn't enjoy the essays, but they were really trying to steer me in a how to be vegan book, because I'm not sure that anyone in the classes were necessarily vegan. They knew what it was, but and I really just didn't feel that's what I wanted to write. So I had to really I really wrestled with that. um Thinking, well, do I do what everybody wants me to do? Or do I really continue down this path of personal essays, and how am I educating people with these essays? Like, thinking about it, I'm in a humane education program, so I wanted the essays to be educational, informative. Um, I wanted people to learn something about it other than my own personal story. And so thinking about it that way with some intention around it, it really did start to blossom. Probably.
So, you talk about the support and the feedback that you got throughout the graduate programs, and you say that actually helped you find your voice as a writer, and it sounds like as a person. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
I can. It definitely, as a writer, it really did help me to get feedback from various people. Some were students in the program, and others were my teachers. And sometimes the feedback didn't resonate. Not that it's, wrong or anything like that. It, it made me realize, oh, well, that's not what I'm trying to say. So I might have to rework what I was saying, um, or what I was writing. And then there was times where I knew what the feedback was and I understood it, and I knew that it wasn't what I wanted to incorporate into my writing for the subject of the book. And I think that was something new for me as a creative person, to think about it in that way, that okay, if I'm creating something, you hear all these voices, where's my voice and what is true for me? So finding that, and that really does kind of flow out into the rest of my life. And it has since then, because I'm much more cognizant of, like, when people say things to me, I'm less reactive, and I think, I really think about it, and no, that doesn't resonate, or, oh, yeah, they have a good point. Kind of going back to, I didn't really want to write a how to be vegan book, because I think there's some out there that are really well done. And I wanted something different, I wanted to share my story, because if I would have had a book like this when I was younger, I think it would have really helped me to maybe move a little bit swifter down the path towards veganism.
You talk about how there are a lot of beautiful vegan books out there. And in the graduate programs, we also talk about how humane education is kind of like a lens that we put on. So how does having that lens on your book make it unique?
I think, well, I know that it was because of the program and having that humane education lens that I actually came up with Vegan Minded as, you know, the title for the book. And then the last chapter is called How to Be Vegan Minded. It won't be giving too much away if I just tell you a little bit about that chapter, because that's really where I do talk about humane education in that last chapter and how it's, you know, made an impact on my life and the way I view the world. So thinking about the definition of being vegan, it's really centered around non-harming of animals. And I mean, that's the whole premise of being vegan, and that's how I came to it. And I'm also a yoga teacher. So as part of yoga philosophy, the 8 limbs of yoga, the first limb is the yamas and niyamas. And the first yama is ahimsa, meaning non-harming, and how we want to practice non-harming in the world. And it's not just animals, it's for humans and the planet, for everything. And so there was a disconnect for me in terms of studying yoga and studying and being vegan and being really focused just on animals, and realizing that really I would really like to see vegans focus on animals and then expand so that we are incorporating humans into the equation and the planet. I wanted to have a more inclusive term and than just plain vegan, which can be very fraught with lots of meanings and stereotypes. So coming to the term vegan minded really stems from humane education. I don't think I would have come up with that idea if I hadn't been studying humane education and everything that it entails. You know, animals, the planet, humans, culture, and change. And in short, that really is how humane education influenced me, and then my capstone project of writing this book.
So I just spoke with another alumna, Natalie, who mentioned how your work with Vegan Minded is inspiring her to keep going on her projects. Who is currently inspiring you in this realm of humane educators?
Well, a lot of people. I loved your conscious consumer website. I love that. And Stacey Schwartz, who graduated, you know, maybe a semester or 2 before me, she lives not far from me. I haven't been to see her urban garden, but she's doing it's called Barefoot Backyard Urban Garden. So she's started growing like microgreens and other food in her yard, and sharing that in different ways in her community. But she also is an instructor with the culinary program at her community college in her town. And she has been bringing plant-based food to those culinary students, to their food truck. It's really inspiring to see someone bringing that to young people, because they really are our future. And we all need to be moving in this direction, a plant-based diet anyway, to heal the planet. So I love what she's doing. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to say just before I stop recording that should be captured while I'm recording?
I just want to thank the Institute for Humane Education and the faculty and the students for this opportunity, not only just to study the program, but to write this book. This would not have happened without this program. So I am super grateful for everyone who has supported me over the past 3 years. So yeah, I'm really grateful, and thank you for the opportunity to let me talk about Vegan Minded and getting it out in the world.
Hold it up one more time for us. Beautiful. Thank you.